What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So, we've talked about three things so far with how to be an entrepreneur. Day one, what did we have? We had consistency and self-discipline. Day two, what did we have? We had focus. So, the next thing that you're going to have to do and you're going to have to embark on and everything like that is educate. All right? And I know that's one thing that people hate to do. So, let's get into this with education. So, there's a number of different things that we can do. We can watch YouTube, we can hire a coach or a mentor, we can go to a job site and observe people, we can watch different YouTube videos, we can buy a book. There's many different ways for the education to come. Here's the thing, is I always suggest figuring out exactly where you want to end up at, okay? That's your goal, okay? I want to be a millionaire, I want to make $5 million, hey, I just want to make $50 a week, okay? So you got to figure out what that is, all right? That's extremely crucial and important for you, all right? So once you figure out exactly what it is that you want to do, okay, where you want to end up at, all right, then you're going to have to figure out what your numbers need to be, okay? Now, I'll tell you something, that my first experience with this and where I failed at was having to do with my grocery store, okay? I worked for the cable company, I got fired, I took my 401k, emptied it out, and I thought for sure that I did my business plan on $50,000, and that's how much was in my 401k, but guess what? They kept that 25-30% or whatever and sent me the rest of it, okay? So I was severely undercapitalized to start with, so I got a check for about 35 grand, all right? Now, I built this store from the ground up, okay? And what I mean by that is that I went to a CVS liquidation sale. It was a drugstore, and I asked the guy, how much for all the shelving? He said, $1,400, and you have to disassemble it. I said, I'll be back tomorrow. Here's the money. I came back with a U-Haul truck. We took down every bit of shelving inside that drugstore, put them in there, brought it back to my store, and reassembled them, okay? So I built that store from the ground up, all right? So here's the thing is, having to do with the education and what your goal is, you're going to have to figure out what your transactions are, okay? And I knew nothing about the markup on having to do with groceries, having to do with cigarettes, having to do with alcohol, none of that kind of stuff, okay? And so I was not in a position where my store was going to perform at the level of what I wanted to end up at, okay? And what I mean by that is that I wanted to make $100,000 a year and only work in that store about 30 hours a week, okay? And as time went on, I quickly found out and watched the bank account go down to where I knew that, you know, before long, I'm gonna be running out of money, okay? And so I had to start working in the store. Instead of 30 hours a week, I was working 60 to 70 hours and trying to save as much on labor as possible. So when it came down to the numbers, this is what I figured out. So you have to sit there and you have to figure out, okay, for every pack of cigarettes I sell, generally speaking, if you make a quarter on every pack, you're doing good, okay? Here's the thing is, we have this concept called a sell-through, okay? When you buy a pack of cigarettes, generally speaking, it'll sell through within a day, okay? And so then you're having to sell another pack, all right? Now, you put a pair of jumper cables on the shelf in a grocery store like that, you might sell one pair every year, and you're only hoping that somebody breaks down out front and they need them damn jumper cables bad, and then you can sell them for like 30 bucks and you only paid $8 for them, but it's gonna sit there for a long time before you get any of your money back, okay? So it's got a very slow sell-through, all right? A 4-pack of beer, I had no idea, but generally speaking, you're only going to get about 25-30 cents on a 4-pack of beer, okay? On a case of beer, if I'm not mistaken, I was lucky if I made $2, okay? Beer is extremely competitive. There's people that, you know, would price their beer, you know, 15-20 cents below cost just to get people inside the door, okay? We had at one time these two Middle Easterners that went head-to-head with each other. They were selling Newports for 50 cents below cost trying to put each other out of business. And what did it do? It basically killed everybody within 10 miles, because beer and cigarettes is something somebody will drive, and they'll spend $40 in gas to save 50 cents on a pack of cigarettes. Trust me on that. I don't understand it, but hey, you know, I got to play by the rules, and those are the rules. So, you know, you got to know where your numbers are at. And why I say this is because you need to be able to figure out, okay, this is how many transactions I have to do to be able to make this amount of money, okay? And that's one thing that I love about like dump trailers and rental properties is that you only have to make that purchase on that dump trailer one time, okay? And then it continues to pay you every time that you put it on location, all right? Same thing with a rental property. You pay for it one time, and if you take care of it, man, you could probably get rent for the next 70, 80 years out of that house. You know, as long as you keep it up and everything like that, then, you know, it'll pay you for the rest of your life. It'll outlast you, you know. There's houses in our city that are 130 years old. So just think if they were rental properties and they've been paying somebody for the last 130 years, you know. So now you've got something that's putting money in your pocket and you're not having to spend any money, you know. That's a beautiful thing. It was just like, you know, I sold 4 quarter pushers that I had in my warehouse to a guy, and he talked about it. He said, man, I love these things because I buy them one time and they continue to make me money week in, week out, week in, week out, you know. And them quarter pushers, I mean, man, they make bank, dude. I'm here to tell you. And, you know, I bought a quarter pusher one time, I think for about $600, and it paid for itself in 1 month. You know, so the biggest thing is that you need to figure out exactly how much it is that you need to be making every week to be able to be profitable. And then you need to figure out how much you need to make to be able to keep the lights on. And like with the grocery store, you know, I had to figure in what's my rent going to be. And generally speaking, you know, on groceries, you're lucky if you're at a 20 to 30% margin. So what does that mean? That means that for me to make $300 a day in profit, I had to sell approximately $1,500 worth of groceries, okay? And so you start figuring that out. Okay, well, $1,500 a day times 30 days. And so what is that? That comes to, I think, $45,000 a month, you know? So then you figure that, you know, I'm having to sell, approximately, you know, about $600,000 a year in sales to be able to make that. And, you know, I ended up closing the store, and the reason was because I didn't know my numbers, okay? And I hate anything with hours on the door that I have to show up for, okay? I like flexibility. I got to be out and about. I got to be moving and shaking and talking with people, and, you know, work with me, I'll work with you, that type of deal. And the thing about it is that if you have a retail location with hours on the door, you've got to be there. You know, 2 or 3 times somebody pulls up and you're supposed to be open and you're not, they're never coming back. So my thing to you is, know what your numbers are. You know, if you say, hey, I need to make $200 a day profit, okay, you're going to have to figure out, you know, if you need to make $200 a day and you can cut a yard and get $50 for it, that means you got to cut 4 yards. Is that correct? No. What that means is that you need to cut more than 4 because you got gas and you need to put money away for your equipment, okay? Now, I got a construction business, all right? I have people all the time come to work for me. 6 months, they're an expert. They go out on their own. Not a problem. I understand. And then they get them a job. They hit a good lick. But, of course, they bid it 30% below market rate. Okay, now what happens is they take a couple weeks off because they got that big stack of cash. And then you guess what? Well, now they're like, well, man, I can't find any work. Can I come back to work for you, Rob? And I'm like, nah, I need somebody that's going to stick around. And he's like, well, man, please. Nah, we already tried this and everything. We're not a good fit. And I said, well, what happened? And, well, you know, my truck broke down. Oh, okay. Well, instead of $2.50 a square foot, that's why we charge $4 a square foot, is because you put a little bit of money back for that truck, for those tools, for this, for that, and everything like that, you know. And people just don't understand, and they don't look at the numbers. So what do we have? We've got self-discipline. We've got consistency. We got focus, and now we've got education, and you need to know your numbers. And you need to hit the subscribe button, and then you need to focus and hit that ding ding too. So give us a like. Appreciate it.